His second is the man you carry assault and lost everything but take a toss. Like so the link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out. So let's into this vaccine in 3, 2, 1.
The hospital corridor pulsed with a strange quiet, the
Yeah.
kind that seemed to hold its breath before a storm. Somewhere in the building, a newborn's wail rose and fell, sharp and raw. Yet
Yeah.
in room 13, there was only silence. Thick, heavy, almost unnatural. Lucas lay on the bed, drenched in sweat, his body trembling as though it carried a secret too heavy to hold. His eyes darted toward the closed door, as if he feared someone might walk in and steal what he was protecting. A single folder rested beneath his pillow, the edges worn from being touched too often. Its pages were filled with records and scans that looked ordinary to the untrained eye, but one glance too long could unravel everything. On the
Yeah.
bedside table, the clock ticked louder than it should, each second slicing through the air. The curtain moved even though the window was closed. A shadow lingered in the corner, though no one else was in the room. And then, almost imperceptibly, a sound, like the faint cry of a child, echoed through the stillness, though no child was there. Lucas closed his eyes, his lips trembling against a secret prayer. Something was coming. Something that should never have been possible. Lucas had
Yeah.
always seemed like an ordinary man. He was tall, with kind brown eyes and a steady demeanor that drew people toward him. At work, he was respected. At gatherings, he was admired. Yet behind his
Yeah.
quiet smile lived a longing that defined his every decision, the need to be a father. When he first married Emma, his college sweetheart, the world looked perfect. They shared laughter, late-night walks, and dreams of a family.
Yeah.
But Emma had no interest in motherhood. She refused every time he brought it up. "I want freedom, not chains," she said. Her words cut deeper than she knew. Lucas
Wow, really?
endured the rejection for years, hoping she would change. But eventually, the distance grew too wide, and he walked away. He remarried, this time to Claire, a woman who promised him children. Yet fate played another cruel trick.
Yeah.
Despite countless doctor visits, treatments, and sleepless nights, Claire remained barren. People whispered that Lucas was cursed, that fatherhood was simply not written in his destiny. But Lucas did not accept that. He carried a secret, one that no one around him yet knew.
Really?
If the world would not give him a child, then he would find a way to carry one himself. Lucas's home became a place of contradictions. On the outside, it was a neat suburban house with trimmed hedges and flowers in bloom, the picture of normality. But
Yeah.
inside, it was heavy with silence. Baby clothes folded neatly in drawers, an empty crib tucked into the corner of a room, faint lullabies saved on his phone, ghosts of a family that did not yet exist. Every evening, as the streetlights flickered on, Lucas sat by the window, staring at the nursery door. The house seemed to hold its breath with him, as if waiting for life that never arrived. Shadows stretched too far in the hallways, and sometimes he felt as though he wasn't alone. It began with something small, almost insignificant, the kind of detail one might overlook in the chaos of daily life. Yet for Lucas, it was impossible to ignore. The silver locket was missing. It had been Emma's gift to him on their wedding day, a
Wow,
delicate
really?
oval with an engraving of ivy leaves curling around its edges. He had
That's
not
nice.
worn it in
Cool.
years, keeping it buried in the back of his
Really cool.
dresser drawer,
Yeah.
almost as if he wanted to forget it. But he knew it had always been there, untouched, waiting. Now the drawer was empty. He pulled everything apart, the socks, the folded shirts, even the old receipts he had tucked away and forgotten. Nothing. He checked the floor, the corners, even beneath the bed. No trace of it. For most people, it might have been a trivial loss. A misplaced trinket, perhaps stolen by time itself. But Lucas felt a coldness settle inside him. The locket was not something anyone else should have known about, not after all these years. Its disappearance felt deliberate, like a hand reaching back from his past.
Yeah.
That night, the unease thickened. When he returned home from the clinic, a folded piece of paper waited on the floor just inside the door. He bent to pick it up, his pulse quickening. The handwriting stopped him cold. Rounded letters, a little too neat, a little too careful. Familiar, uncomfortably familiar. The note contained only 7 words. Some dreams
Same
cost
old boy.
more than you can pay.
Yeah.
No signature, no explanation, just the warning. Lucas stood in the hallway for a long time, the note trembling slightly in his hands. He could hear the refrigerator humming, The faint tick of the wall clock, the quiet creak of the house settling. Yet it all sounded wrong, distorted, as if the walls themselves were listening. He tore the note into pieces and dropped them into the bin. Outwardly, he forced himself to move on, telling himself it was nothing, some prank, a meaningless intrusion. But deep inside,
Yeah.
something darker stirred. A question he
Really?
didn't want to answer took root. Someone new, and whoever it was
Yeah.
had
Someone
reached
new.
into
Yeah.
his hidden past, pulling out the one object that should never have resurfaced. Claire, his second wife, noticed his restlessness. "You're hiding something, Lucas," she whispered one night, her eyes sharp with suspicion. But he said nothing. The truth was too strange, too dangerous to share. Then there was Dr. Morgan, the physician who had once treated him and now avoided his calls. Their last meeting ended with the doctor saying, "You don't understand what you're asking your body to endure. It's unnatural." And Emma, his first wife, kept appearing in unexpected places.
Wow. Really? Creepy people.
At the grocery store, across the street from his office, even near the hospital. She never approached him, but her eyes followed him, cold and unblinking. It was as if she was waiting for
That's
something.
creepy.
Who could he
Yeah.
trust? Claire, who demanded honesty but might betray him. Dr. Morgan, who knew too much. Or Emma, whose silence felt heavier than words. Lucas's decision hardened after years of disappointment. With experimental procedures and hidden medical support, he began his journey. His body changed in ways he could never have imagined. Nausea that struck at dawn, swelling he struggled to hide, fatigue that pressed him into the mattress. Each pain reminded him of the path he had chosen. The world outside moved on, unaware. He lied at work, telling colleagues he was unwell. He withdrew from friends. He carried his secret like a flame in a storm, fragile and
Really?
dangerous. But the warnings grew louder. Anonymous messages arrived by email. "Stop before you destroy yourself." His car was scratched with the word unnatural. One night, he woke to find the nursery
Oh,
door open,
really?
though he swore he had locked it. The crib rocked slightly, as if touched by unseen hands. Still, he pressed forward. The first time he heard the heartbeat during an ultrasound, tears filled his eyes. For that sound alone, he would endure anything. The truth revealed itself in fragments. Claire discovered his secret one
Oh, really?
evening when she followed him to the clinic. She was horrified, not at his suffering, but at being excluded. "You didn't want me as the mother," she said bitterly. "You only wanted the child." Her love for him shattered in that instant, leaving behind only resentment. But the greatest shock came from Emma. She finally confronted him outside his house.
Oh no, the exit. Oh no.
Her voice cold as winter. "So this is what you chose instead of me? You left me because I wouldn't carry your burden, and now you've made yourself into something less than human." Lucas realized then that Emma had been watching him all along. The missing locket, the notes, the shadows. Her revenge had begun long before the child was born. The final months were agony. Lucas's
Wow, really?
body felt torn apart. Every step a reminder that he was crossing boundaries never meant to be crossed. Nights were filled with fever and fear, days with isolation. Yet through every scream of pain, he whispered to the life inside him, promising protection, love, and a future. When the
Yeah.
day of birth came, the
Oh, creepy. Oh,
hospital was thrown into chaos. Doctors debated whether his body could survive. Nurses whispered about the strangeness of it all. The pain was indescribable, like fire tearing him from within. Hours blurred into eternity. And then, at last, the cry of a newborn filled the room. Lucas held the child against his chest, trembling, weeping. All the pain vanished in that moment. He had done it. He was a father. But his triumph lasted only
yeah.
hours. That night, as he lay weak and half-conscious, the child was taken. The cameras in the ward had been disabled, the security distracted. When he awoke, the crib was empty. Only a note remained. "This life is mine now. You took everything from me. I am only taking back what should have been mine to give." It was signed with a name that made his blood run cold, Emma. The house was quieter than
But I thought, I, I thought Imla did want, I thought Imla did want kids. What the? What? Didn't Imla say CD1 to kids? So she took the baby because for what?
Ever after that night. The nursery stood empty once again, but this time there was no hope left. Lucas wandered through rooms filled with memories of dreams turned to dust. His body bore scars, his heart bore deeper ones. He searched for Emma, for the child, but she had vanished like smoke. Some whispered she had fled abroad, others that she raised the child under another name. The authorities offered little help, dismissing his claims as madness. In the stillness of his empty home, Lucas asked himself the question that haunted his every breath. Had his desperation blinded him? Was fatherhood worth the price he paid? The loss of love, trust, and even his own child? The rocking crib remained in the corner, swaying gently whenever the wind moved through the window. And sometimes, in the silence of midnight, Lucas swore he could hear a baby's faint cry carried through the walls, a reminder of what he had created but could
Oh,
never hold.
wow. So at the moment you carry a sub and lost everything but that got tossed. The link to the video will be the description below. Go and check them out and drop a like if you like and comment below if you want to see more reaction like this one. And subscribe if you're new and click the bell so you can be notified when I upload in my bye. Wow.